Alright guys, so we're out in the shop. We got the TIG welder. What we're going to be doing on this head is in the blue areas. If you can see the blue areas that I have marked out, I'm going to be filling this area here in with weld. Pretty much there's a seam that runs across here. I'm going to be following that off the exhaust seat and then just kind of tapering it up along this blue line. And then down in this area, I'm going to be putting as much weld as I can, basically coming around the exhaust seat out, and then back up around the spark plug, and then back out, and then back in around the intake seat. In this area here and in this area here, I'm going to be adding weld, but in a downward taper. And I'm going to be probably adding a little bit of a downward taper over here. So it's all marked out. So what I need to do before I start welding is get my acetone and my dedicated stainless steel brush dedicated for aluminum. Get all of these markings off, and then start the welding. So I will get to it and I will get back with you. Alright, so I've taken the acetone, wiped it down, taken my stainless steel brush, gone over the areas down here and up here where I'm going to be welding, and now it's time to start the welder. Plus degrees. That's a pretty good preheat to put on any of this. I feel like this thing shows it a little cooler than it really is. It's ticking and stuff like that, showing signs of good heat. Also, you can see a liquid has come out of the valve guides. That's just some machining oil from the factory. All of these things point to a sign that this thing is preheated and ready to go. Alright, so what you can see here is the back corner of the combustion chamber around the exhaust valve that is now full of weld. And it's pretty much built up to the top and just tapers down on the other side of the plug. This is the same shape that I'm going to duplicate on the intake side. Later down the line I might have to go in there and add a little bit more welds, grind a little bit some out, you know, play with it, but right now we're just getting in some of the rough material. So I'll go ahead and do the other side of the spark plug and I'll get back to you. Alright, so we've done some welding at the bottom. This is just a look from a couple different angles. So something I see when I look at this is, now if the seat's going to be here, this might be a low spot right here. This little piece of porosity I might have to get at, and this area right in here might have to be built up more, because, and even right in here more. This actually has to be really tight. So if this was cleaned up, this little triangle of material here needs to pretty much be flush with the top. So this is still low. And as of like right here, if I drew a line here and if I drew a line here, that's where it needs to start transitioning down. So this entire triangle here would eventually be milled flush with the top, which means down in here still needs material, and right up here. So I'm going to take another pass at this side and start back in here and just come over and basically into this triangle area I'm drawing now and build up. And then after that I'll probably come back to this side, and right in this triangle here I'm probably going to build up. And then we'll get on to the upper side. Alright, so I'll do that and I'll get back. Alright guys, so at this point we've got the bottom of the combustion chamber full with weld. If you look from the sides, you can see that it's all above the area. And if you look from the top, you can see that it's pretty much straight up. And the same over here. This is going to get a bigger seat, so it's going to be something like in here, the seat edge. So it's just going to be straight down. It's going to taper down here. It's going to taper up back here, and then it's going to be straight down. I'll turn the head around so you can see it from the other side. Very sensitive, very organized welding. You really have to be careful with this. This cast will just explode. I haven't cleaned it or anything. This is just right after I finished. It's still smoking hot. So the bottom is done. So now what I'm going to do is come back here and fill in the top, and I'll get back to you after that. Alright, so the welding is finished. As you can see, it's going to be an extremely small combustion chamber. None of the shaping has been done yet, obviously, but it's really just going to be valves and a spark plug. This area here is going to taper down. It's going to be basically straight up and down, all in here, straight up and down, all in here, when the bigger valve seat gets put in on this side. So this is pretty much all going to be a straight wall. And then in here, it's going to be slanted from the base of the spark plug towards the valve, and it's going to feather out. The valve is going to be tapered out this way in this area. And then the same thing with this side. It's going to taper down here, but also be tapering out from the valve. So it's all just about shaping the angles now and cleaning up the straight edges. The only reason we're doing it this way is to get such a high compression ratio. If in fact he wants to change it later on, it's definitely feasible and possible, and even preferred. What I would do would just be to remove some of this weld that was put in to unshroud the intake valve. In doing that, it will drop the compression ratio, which would be preferred. So one thing I like about working with metal is you can add it and you can take it away if you have the ability to. So it's not like all sales are final. So if he wants to, down the road, after he sees this intake valve in here and how shrouded it's going to be, I don't know if he can just picture it. So either way, we're going to be putting that bigger seat in. So once that seat gets put in, I'll do some video and you guys can be the judge of it and tell me what you think. But it's definitely going to be extremely shrouded. Just picture right here the valve basically, you know, just popping open and the top of it sealing this up. There'd be no way for the air to get out and around it. The only free passageway is like right in here. Will be from like right here to like right here. So that's only about 40% of the valve. I mean, some air will be able to escape over here. It'll be very limited. Nothing like I've talked about in other videos about what I recommend this dimension should be. But it's definitely going to give him the compression ratio he wants. So next step for me will probably be do some light shaping maybe, or depending upon the time frame and when I go to the machine shop next. I have a few things that have to go now, so this will go in that pile, unless in fact I feel like coming in and shaping it before I put the intake valve in, intake seat, sorry. So for now, this is the welded chamber. Tell me what you guys think. This is Paul from Paul's Carts. Hope you guys found this informative, and until next time, have a good day.